Hi fashion lovers, you're welcome to another interesting video. Trust you're all doing well. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to pad your bustier, perfectly well. So this is like a new method that I'm using to pad my bustier, and it came out perfectly well, and I decided to share it with you guys. So if it is something you want to learn, you need to keep watching this video. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, share this video. Let's get started. So to get started, I have my pattern. I drafted the pattern in my previous video, the strapless to bustier video. So that was where I drafted this pattern. So I'm going to be using this pattern to pad my bustier now. So I have my wadding, as you can see. I have the fabric, and I have an interfacing, a fusible interfacing. You can make use of any fusible interfacing of your choice. I have my hemming gum, that is fusible webbing. I also have it, but although I later used the bigger part, the bigger one. So these are the things you are going to be needing for the draft, for the padding of this bustier. So this is the center front. So from this part to the under bust, we're going to be cutting a padding that will get from the top to the under bust like this. So we're going to be cutting the padding on the pattern because we're not going to be adding allowance to the pad. You're not going to be adding allowance to the pad. So you want to like go inward by 4.5 inches depending on how big the person's bust is, and then the under bust you go inward by 1 inch, and the upper part here you can go inward by 1 inch. You want to go ahead and connect all these lines. Did you see what I'm doing? I'm using my pencil to like make a curve. Did you see? So from the bust point you can go inward by 4.5 inches. If you like your half of your nipple to nipple measurement is 4 inches, you can use 4.5. On the upper part, go inward by 1 inch. On the under bust, go inward by 1 inch, and then make a curve like this, so that is how I try to cut out my bustier pattern. So this is how you're going to place it to cut out your bustier. So the center front is going to be on fold as you're cutting out that bustier. So you also want to cut this one out in pieces following the curve that you have made earlier. So I've gone ahead to cut out the main fabric, and I've added half-inch sewing allowance all around. Did you see? I added half-inch sewing allowance all around, and here I cut it out in two pieces. I also added half-inch even on the side seam as well. So you want to go ahead and notch the under bust of the center front. This center front is cut on fold. Please take note of that. You want to notch on the under bust on the bust point. So you also want to like notch on the bust point. Did you see? And also notch on the under bust. Did you see? You want to also notch on the under bust like this, and also on the waistline. So this is my padding after I was done cutting. So I cut out this padding without adding the sewing allowance. Did you see? Because I'm going to be joining this padding with zigzag stitches. We are not going to be sewing the sewing allowance. So I didn't add any sewing allowance to it. Did you see? I just cut it out the way it is exactly on my pattern paper. Did you see that? And the center front is on fold. So I'm going to kind of, and this is the interfacing. I'm going to be adding that interfacing to the fabric. So but for this tutorial I'm going to be adding the interfacing to stop on the under bust. So but you can decide to like add the interfacing on the clothing, like the full, full bodies. But for me, I'm going to be stopping my interfacing on the upper, on the under bust. So you want to like go ahead and sew this. So you want to sew this in such a way that the fusible part will be on the same side. So I'm trying to like match this up to cut out the bust point line, because I'm going to be needing it when I will be sewing the part. So if you are sewing this, you want to like sew the visible part one side. So the visible part, like the part that would gum to the fabric, will be on one side. As you are placing this, like you want to place in such a way that the part that will come to the fabric will be on one side. So that is how you are going to be placing it. So I'm going to be taking it to the sewing machine to show you how to sew it. So this is me on the sewing machine. So I'm going to be using a zigzag stitches. I'm going to be using a zigzag stitches. Did you see that? So you want to like place and start sewing. You want to like push them together. Did you see the way I'm pushing it together to sew? Did you see? You want to like put it together to sew. So when I was done sewing, I realized that I'm using the small part of the zigzag. Like the zigzag have like a bigger parts, so I used the small part, and then it didn't give me what I want. So I have to increase the width of the zigzag stitches. I don't know if you have that in your own sewing machine. So what I'm doing is that from the bust point, I will sew to the upward to the upper part. Did you see? You want to like hold it and sew with the zigzag stitches to the upper part like this. Did you see that? And then from the bust point, you also want to sew with zigzag to the down part. Did you see? You also want to sew it to the down part like this. Did you see? So this is actually very easy and simple, trust me. So when you are done, this is what you are gonna have. Did you see? There is no joining on the or on the padding. There is no joining, so it's not going to add any bulkiness to your pad. This is what I have. I learned how to do this, and I've been using it, and it's working for me perfectly well. So I decided to share it with you guys. So did you see the curve and everything? Everything just came out well. So for this part, I want to like go ahead and add my interfacing to the wrong side of the fabric on the two sides now, on the two sides of this front. And also this is the center front. You also want to add your interfacing to it as well, and then you want to go ahead and iron it with your iron. So when you're done ironing, you want to go ahead and join the bustier. So starting from the under bust, you want to like sew to the upper part. Did you see? So I like sewing my bustier. Whenever I'm sewing my bustier, I like starting from the under bust. So you want to sew from the under bust upwards, and then you flip it to the other side and sew from the under bust downwards. Did you see that? Making sure all the lines match, the waistline, the bust point, the under bust, everything matches together. So when you are done, you also want to join the other side of the bustier, starting from the under bust like this. Did you see? Then you want to sew upwards. This is very simple. In case you don't know how to sew a bustier, this is very simple. Did you see? And then you flip to the other side, and from the under bust you sew to the you want to sew to the down part, and this is what you are going to have. So after I was done sewing, this is what I have. Did you see? Everything aligns together. So the secret of joining your bustier is to use a pin. So you want to like open the side seam up and iron it out. You want to open it up and iron the side seam out. So did you see? When you're done ironing it, then you attach your wadding. So you can see I'm done ironing the bustier. Did you see? I'm done ironing it, and this is what I have. Even without adding the pad, the curve is still there. Did you see that? So this is what I have. So I'm going to be attaching the pad to the bustier now. So you want to like attach it in such a way that you will align the lines. The line of the pad will meet the line of the bustier. And this is the fusible webbing that I'm going to be using, the hemming gum that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be attaching it. So it's not compulsory you attach a like a hemming gun, but if you have, it's going to help you a lot, just to like lay flat, but this padding already have like a gum on it that you can attach to your fabric. Like is visible, so you can attach it to the fabric with even without the hemming gum. But I decided to like add the hemming gum, so you can decide to add the hemming gum or you can decide not to, depending on what you have available. So this is me trying to like align everything together, and then I'm going to align it on the lines. Did you see? Make sure it matches, like it gets to the under bust. Did you see? And there should be like an allowance on the upper part because the padding didn't get to the allowance on the upper part. So I tried ironing it like this. It was a bit difficult, so I have to like get a pin to attach, like to hold it down. So if you are doing this, I will advise you use a pin to hold it down. Did you see? So this is me trying to like align everything and use a pin to hold it down. Did you see that? So you can see there is still allowance on the upper part because the padding didn't get to the sewing allowance that I added. So you want to like use your pin, hold it down, and then go ahead and iron it out. So I decided to like trim it off because I was like I needed to have more space up there. So I decided to like trim it off by 0.25 inch. So if you don't like how yours is, you can just trim it up here just to have that enough sewing allowance on that upper part. Try as much as possible to pin it down. Then with your ironing ball, I didn't find mine, so I have to like create a fast one for myself, and then I placed it under. See, you place it under like this and iron. So when you are done, you can also turn it to the wrong side and also iron. So you want to like go ahead and iron this very well. Ironing your bustier is going to help you, it's going to bring out that curve very well, just the way you want it. So you iron the front part, you also iron the back part as well, like the inner part as well. Did you see? So you just have to like take your time to iron this out. So I've turned it to the wrong side and I'm ironing it. So after I was done, this is what I have. You can see. Did you see that line? Everything matches together. There is no sewing allowance to be cutting up there. And it's not going to add any bulkiness to your bustier or having excesses in that bustier region. So if you can and you can do this, I will advise you use this method to pad your bustier. Trust me, it really came out beautiful and I love the outcome. So let me know if you will try this out, and if you do, let me know your thought on the comment section. Till then, see you in my next video. Bye.